talk about again, probably.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I do it. So, Andy, how are you? How are you feeling?
All is well, yeah, very good. I was at a gig at the Roundhouse last night.
Okay, who was
Catriel and
there?
Paco Amoroso. They're super cool, but
Yeah.
um, it's a great venue, and
Mm.
I love. I go to more gigs than most people. I go
Okay.
to pretty much as many gigs as most bands do these days. So but that's a
Nice.
great part of the job.
Yeah. So, is that do you now feel that that's now part of your job, going to gigs? I don't know, interviewing, reviewing, that kind of thing.
I actually do. I don't do too many gig reviews, but a fascinating thing I've found since the pandemic in particular is that
Mm.
a lot of the younger up and coming bands have all learnt from YouTube, so they all know who I am.
Right.
So it's just, I've actually had shout outs from the stage before,
Right. Okay.
going, "Oh, that's my guitar teacher down there." And that's just wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been a great part of it. And it keeps everything fresh. It keeps me inspired. I
Yeah.
don't play any gigs other than I did guest with one band called Soapbox last
Yeah.
month, which came out through that, just going to gigs and talking to them afterwards and
Yeah.
becoming friends. You know, they're nice people, so
It's
they then
always
asked me
handy.
to play at they asked me to play a gig in Brighton, and that was actually my first proper gig in Brighton, I guess. So it was good
Okay.
fun.
Cool. So, I wanted to chat about like you dropped on my radar. I think it was kind of around the pandemic. Is that kind of when you found that your channel kind of took off?
Actually, no, but it was certainly the most recent massive boost.
Yeah.
It was a good job to have in 2020, I'll be honest, an online guitar teacher of any
Yeah.
regard.
Yeah.
But no, I was a one-to-one guitar teacher from 2009 till about
Mhm.
2015.
Right.
I got fully booked with students. This was after university. I graduated in 2008 when there was a financial crisis and there was no jobs
Hmm.
anyway. You couldn't even get a job in McDonald's.
I remember
So
they,
you had
they they
to
called it the credit crunch, didn't they?
the credit crunch. Yeah, it's cause he lives now, and it was credit
Yeah.
crunch back in the day. So yeah, no one was offering jobs. So I advertised as a teacher as well as doing a lot of live sound and lights for Leeds where I
Mm.
lived, bands in Leeds where I lived at the time, and at Sheffield Lead Mill, which is about to close bizarrely.
Oh
Although it'll
yeah,
probably
yeah.
the place will hopefully reopen and stay a live music venue, but yeah,
Okay.
the future of the lead mill is uncertain. But things
Mm.
took off for me online when I started filming videos just to advertise those one-to-one lessons.
Yeah.
And one of those I filmed at the start of 2013, I think it was. Played 10
Okay.
songs with two chords.
Right. Yeah.
And that became the most watched guitar lesson video on YouTube. It's now at about 29 million
Wow.
views. And then in 2016, I released a 10-day course, which was honestly my version of like Yoga with Adrian 30-day yoga,
Yeah.
but for guitar.
Right. Okay.
And just sat in front of someone like they've got a guitar, you've got a guitar. That's how I taught things to camera. And
Okay.
that then overpassed the other one, and that is now the most watched YouTube video on YouTube still. About
Wow.
32 million views, something like that.
Okay.
Which in to big myself up a little bit, that is millions more than like even Rick Beato's ever had on a video.
Okay. How does that feel?
The well, the difference is that my batting average is not as high as a Rick Beato or anything like that. I
Yeah.
definitely hit on an idea that connected a
Yeah.
bit like a bit like I guess I'm not a one-hit wonder, but a bit like a band that is a two-hit wonder. I feel like I'm a
Okay.
two-hit wonder.
Right. Okay.
Which I've learned after seeing many bands at a headline a festival or something. So sometimes two hits is all you need to actually
Yeah.
sustain
I
a
mean,
career.
I know people that have sustained a career of one hit, and they'd love a second. So that's not
I
it's not
know
too
that's
bad.
that,
It's
that's
not
the
too
way
bad.
I feel. It
Mm.
was it was actually I did a podcast years like 2019 with Rob Chapman, who used to
Yeah.
be live near me in Brighton,
Yeah.
and when he says when he was researching me, he went, "Bloody hell, how many million views do you get on some videos?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, not all, not all."
Yeah.
but on some, yeah, it is very good fortune. But the whole thing is born out of wanting to scale one-to-one lessons because that's what I always did. That's how I started out with this. That was always the goal, to be a full-time one-to-one and small groups guitar teacher. That's what I did for years.
Yeah.
But you hit a ceiling when you get fully booked, and
Yeah.
also you can't scale you in person. You can only scale it online. So I've always been very embracing of the technology aspect of that.
Sure.
Not least because I used to do a lot of Skype lessons as well. Otherwise, as a one-to-one teacher, you don't get much work in the day.
Mm.
Maybe from 4 p.m. you can be fully booked fine, but before then you're reliant on retired people and
Yeah.
shift workers. You used to
Yeah.
teach a lot of doctors, people like that, surgeons,
Okay.
or people anywhere in the world over Zoom and Skype. Well, it was Skype. What the hell
Yeah.
happened to Skype,
I don't know
man?
what happened to
Skype was
Skype.
huge.
It
Zoom killed
was.
it in the pandemic, and it was like
Yeah.
it was like, shall I Skype you? Yeah, great. We'll open Zoom. Like, what
Yeah.
happened to them?
Like, could you imagine running Skype? Because it was even used as an adjective, like we'll just Skype. And then when the
Yeah,
pandemic
and
hit,
then
they
you'd
were like,
open
they
Zoom.
must have been like rubbing their hands, going, "This is going to be it for us." And then Zoom just kind of just snuck in. I don't know
Well,
how it
that shows
happened.
you exactly how flippant anything can be, or how transient anything can be. As we've discussed with the one-hit wonder bands, some manage to sustain it, but some just
Yeah.
don't at all.
Hmm.
And I think the thing I'm most proudest of is that I'm still doing this. I have turned it into a business which employs people and supports people that do really good work, as
Yeah.
well as myself. But I've got a really good team around me now that do really good work, are very passionate about what they do,
Hmm.
and really do it for all the right reasons. My web team, for example, who do my website, they always go, "You are super white hat about all this. There's a lot of things you could do that you don't do," and they always commend me on it.
Hmm.
But I'm really proud of that. I think that comes across in the videos, and yeah, still doing it, still enjoying it, and still finding new ways to get people picking up a six string and playing it till the fingers bleed, I guess.
Yeah. That's cool. So, what I'm going to ask you, what kind of things could you do that your web team? What kind of are you talking about? Like funneling people and selling stuff, or
Yeah, have you not seen some of these? Well, we could hit ads a lot more, and we don't, because
yeah,
who likes adverts?
nobody likes being advertised to.
Like the last advert I think I really loved was the Guinness advert where they had the white horses. Tick follow, top follow, right? That was a great advert.
I don't remember. I
When
don't
was the
remember
last time you saw anything? You don't remember that? Come on, you're of an era, you should remember that.
that.
He waits, that's what he does. Tick follow, top follow. It was a great advert. Black and white one in the 90s, I think it was. But yeah,
Okay.
adverts are really bad. And the whole retargeting thing, or anyone that runs, here's the one, anyone that
Mm,
runs a live seminar which you have to sign up for with your email, and
yeah.
they'll do a workshop which they'll pretend is live. All of that malarkey. They're all playing mind games with you,
Yeah.
and it's all cheap sales tactics, but that can really, yeah, really sustain businesses. But I totally go. Everything that works for me is a video that does well normally on YouTube, and
Hmm.
then we have more videos like that on the website, because you have to be a lot more scattergun on YouTube.
Yeah.
I feel anyway. There's more things on the website that are more structured,
Yeah.
um, and actually teach you to play guitar rather than just sit there and watch YouTube on your mobile. Yeah, that's my thing. I'm really pleased with it.
It's. I mean, I you know I get a lot of Instagram adverts for guitar courses for guitar. Not less necessarily lessons, but it's usually courses, and you can usually tell that these people are just full of shit because it's a 7-minute video of promising everybody the world, and it's the shortcut that nobody's telling you about, and it's the secrets that all the pros use, and you just think, "Fuck you, just fuck you." But
Okay.
when you see videos and like people like yourself, and there's Justin, Marty Schwartz, uh, you all come across as people that love playing, are players, and care about what you do, and that comes across. And I think that's why the three of you are kind of the kings of YouTube guitar lessons.
Well, thank you for mentioning me in those terms and with those people, because they were certainly well established before I even started.
Mm. Yeah.
Marty and Justin did start before. At least they got a well established. They'd uploaded a lot more videos before I had. I was uploading my first guitar lesson videos to YouTube in 2009, but
Yeah.
which is like ancient. That's nearly 20. That's going to
Yeah.
be coming up to 20 years ago soon. It's 16
Yeah.
years ago, right? Ancient in internet terms, but I was really just advertising for the local area. I was trying to get some YouTube hits, but
Mm.
it wasn't a big thing. But there was certainly I felt like there was a second wave of people that came after like 2017 or so,
Yeah.
when Paul Davids came on the scene, Rick
Yeah. Yeah.
Beato, Rhett Shull. There
Yeah.
were definitely they were not the primary thing they were doing was not here's how to play this song or
Yeah.
here's whatever. They maybe did a little bit of that, but it was like making mini movies. I've actually heard
Mm.
Paul Davids talk about this, where he goes, "I feel like making a movie today." I'm like, I've
Yeah.
never had that thought. I've never thought I'm going to make a movie today. So
Yeah.
there's, I guess, the difference. And it's a visual medium, so if you can take advantage of that, then fair play to you. But
Mm.
that's not my USP, and that's not what I'm doing this for. I'm literally doing this to scale the one-to-one lessons that I always used to give.
Yeah.
And now we do that with the website courses on YouTube, and then we've got the weekly live streams that I do every Monday, and we've got an exclusive Discord community that are part of that membership, basically. And
Yeah.
that's how you can basically ask me anything at least once a week, if not multiple times a week, through Discord. And they
Yeah.
get the direct feedback from me. We actually have a thing called Open Mic Sundays, which
Okay.
is where every Sunday people upload videos to the Discord, and everyone can see what everyone's been learning that week, and there'll be themed ones and stuff. But before I had a membership, I had no idea who was even like. You don't see that on YouTube. Who are these
Yeah.
people that are commenting in the videos? There's a
Yeah.
guy called Paul that like gives me a thumbs up for everything I upload, and
Yeah.
I don't know who he is, because it's not YouTube isn't YouTube isn't really social media.
Yeah.
Not it's more of a broadcast channel. It's more of a Netflix thing.
Yeah.
Even my mum's on Instagram. My mum isn't on YouTube as a
Yeah. Yeah.
person
Yeah.
creating and commenting. So
Yeah.
it's a funny old thing, but it's been great to have that tight knit community. And I actually saw a lot of that firsthand as a fan,
Mm.
as a fan of Justin Hawkins of the
Oh,
Darkness.
yeah. 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 Yeah.
Justin Hawkins rides again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think he only started that because of the pandemic, and he had a Discord and a Patreon and stuff. And I saw him really start to enjoy it. I'm such a fan of the Darkness and a fan of him. But the first time I
Mm.
saw all that, I went, bloody hell, what's gone wrong? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a rock star. What's he on Patreon for?
Yeah.
But then after he was doing it for a while, I saw other people sharing it, and fans being a fan of it. Like, oh, that looks fun. So I was in his Zoom chats just after the
Mm.
pandemic. And from all that, like we've met a couple of times, and
Cool.
like he knows me, he knows who I am, and we've chat. We even went for a run, not as
Yeah.
part of Patreon, just so like he
Yeah. Yeah.
invited me for a run down Brighton seafront before one of the Darkness shows.
Wicked.
It's like one of my favorite memories ever. That
Yeah.
all came from him actually embracing YouTube, Discord, Patreon, and building a closer relationship with his fans.
Yeah.
Um, and that has inspired me as much as anything. Because if you'd have told me back in 2003, when I was a fan of the Darkness originally,
Yeah.
that we'd both
You
be
would.
doing something like the same job, like it
Yeah.
didn't exist. It didn't. I couldn't have dreamed this as a dream job, because it literally didn't exist. And we're all making it up as we go along. So make us that as well. I can't remember what question you asked, but
Yeah. No. I think I just
it's
let you
such a
ramble.
360 thing.
Yeah. So, in terms of your playing guitar, what does that look like as an aside from teaching and the websites and YouTube? Do you get to play for
Um,
yourself?
I do. Yeah, of course. But I don't do any live. I don't do any gigs other than I mentioned earlier. I was invited to play with Soapbox
Yeah.
last month at the Great Escape Festival. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
playing guitar behind my head for a punk band. That was fun.
Yeah, nice.
Um, but because you've got to pick and choose. You can't do everything. And I've got a partner that really loves to go to gigs.
Yeah.
And has her ear to the ground even more than I do about new up and coming bands. And we've
Okay.
started to interview bands more. So in terms of like live stuff, I'm doing the interviews more than anything else. I'm playing at the Brighton Guitar Show next week, next Saturday.
Okay.
Um, but that's actually, I'm doing a workshop on how to work stuff out by ear. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
what actually, if I have a talent, that's probably the only talent I properly have, where
Right.
I can really compete with players that are much technically better than me. I can find the song quicker. I can find a melody.
Yeah.
But Mike Bradley told me that more than most people. I've worked a lot with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, practice always is keeping up the skills and learning whatever songs that I'm going to be teaching that month. You know, sometimes
Okay.
you're like, okay, it's another Oasis song. I know this one. It's a
Mm-hmm.
Beatles one. I know that one. Sometimes there'll be something that's a bit more. Oh, that's going to take a few weeks to master. So that's especially when you're doing it on camera.
Yeah.
Camera's unforgiving, even way more
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
playing something live. You maybe
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
have to get it right once when you're on
Yeah.
camera, but you don't want it to take 2 hours to get a take. So I really do, especially to be able to actually be able to play stuff slowly well
Mm.
takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
Um, and see, yeah, you're always balancing it between playing to your strengths and filling out your weaknesses. And then,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is something I talk candidly about when we do the live streams, basically.
Hmm. And how do you think YouTube has changed since you started?
Um, Out of everything, it's been remarkably consistent.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly changed a lot in terms of what's expected these days. I mean, post-pandemic, I don't really know anyone that even just plays guitar that isn't on it. From
Yeah.
students learning to guitarists in bands to people like Justin Hawkins who are full-on rock stars but have totally embraced that as just another part of their
Mm-hmm.
career, I guess, a part of their job, part of their building an audience, something that's central to them rather than just to the band.
Yeah.
Um, but it's all things to. There's certain things that tend to rise to the top. Um, and it's really though I think the weirdest thing is that the shorter the attention spans become, the longer videos also do better.
Mm.
Isn't it mad that we all think we're all like just watch shorts all the time?
Yeah.
But then I'm
Yeah.
more than happy to go, oh, this 4 hour podcast, oh
Yeah.
great, just leave it on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's straight
But
like
I
it's
think
like
that the hardest thing to do sometimes is just to get someone to watch a 10-minute video for the full
yeah.
10 minutes
Yeah.
because they want to watch the first minute, but then they'll click off. I mean, especially when it's a tutorial, so I do get it. If you're not wanting to learn that song, you're going to click off.
Mm.
But yeah, we do our first minute. We treat the first minute of the YouTube videos and shorts almost the same these days. It hasn't
Okay.
got that same kind of high impact start. We're not going to make that video, frankly. We'll make something else. So
Yeah.
if anyone's wondering why doesn't he just do what he used to do or something, that's why it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
But if you do hit on something that is of interest and you make a 4 hour video on it,
Mm.
you can do mega well. We've done a lot of 1 hour super edits of what I used to put as the first 5 days of some course or something that I make for YouTube, like I don't know how to play country guitar or how to play
Yeah.
lead guitar or something. I used to do them separate videos. We put a lot of those together now. My last total beginner program, like
Mm.
absolute beginner 10 days. We put the 5 first days together as a super edit, just
Yeah.
over an hour on YouTube. That's been one of the best videos views wise in the past year because it's got a lot of value on one video and people keep coming back to that video.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
Yeah, it's changed
like
massively.
like the long form stuff is. I think if somebody's sitting down, they're like, right, I'm going to give this a crack. You see a 10-minute video, you're like, I'm not going to get much from that. How much is going to be in there? And usually you can usually get a lot of stuff into a 10-minute. But when you see an hour, you're like, yeah, I've got an hour. I've got an hour to practice. So
It's a weird thing, but
Yeah.
also getting people. I mean, TikTok changed everything,
Mm.
and it also we're still feeling the effects of that. Do you know
Yeah.
that the part of the reason they do this the scroll is vertical now is because it's a lot like it taps into the gambling thing. It
Really?
taps
I didn't
into
know
the
that.
roulette wheel.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and also even more than that, a vertical scroll gives you
Mm.
dopamine as opposed to
Right.
any other way of doing it. The vertical one is actually that you get a dopamine hit from it.
Huh.
Um,
Okay.
so when I say people don't watch more than the first 3 seconds of a video, you've got to put a lot of effort into that. That's because of the scroll thing. And
Right.
why people watch a 4 hour video or 1 hour video when they're happy with it is because they put it on and then they put it down and
Yeah.
then they just get into a totally different mode.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're governed by these. It's an interesting discussion whether it's been net positive or negative for both learning guitar or learning anything
Yeah.
online. Because I did, for the time, I really pined for, oh, if I'd have only had YouTube when I was 10, 13, 16, wouldn't
Yeah.
that have been amazing? But then I don't think my ear would be as good as it is, and
Well,
that's been the biggest asset.
that's what I think is lacking, is that so much information is given freely, so much is done, so much of the legwork is done for students that they're missing out that putting either the CD on, your A being a little chord
Mm.
change that you can't quite get, you're just looping it over and over, like, what is that fucking chord? And then you're there for half an hour, then you get it, you're like, I got it. G sharp minor 7 flat 5. All right, okay, next bit. And then
Yeah,
your ear starts to benefit from stuff like that, and it really starts to work. And maybe there's something that's missing, but then there's so many ear training courses that are available that if somebody does want to get their ear into shape, there's a 10 quid, 15 quid course that they can take, and they can get their ear
but
into shape.
but you've got to want to do it, and you can't teach that want.
Mm,
It's literally the take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can
yeah,
buy all the courses you want. You've got to put the legwork in.
yeah,
Otherwise, it's going to provide you very little benefit. And
yeah,
that's why you don't get, it's a big, bold statement to say, I guess, but you don't really get better at guitar just from watching YouTube guitar lessons.
yeah,
You've got to actually play.
yeah,
You've got to stumble and then start to walk and figure stuff out. You've got to play along to songs
yeah,
without the tab in front of you.
yeah,
You've got to challenge yourself. And in fact, what I've seen from the band interviews, and just from chatting to bands in general, is they have all the exact same fears as all the one-to-one teachers, students that I taught over the
mm,
years. But they just decided to do it anyway.
yeah,
And I actually don't know if that takes courage. I don't know if you call it courage, or
mm,
if it is courage, it's a very personal courage.
mm,
And sometimes it's just complete naivete. Like, we're just gonna do this, and I have no expectations, but I'm gonna put myself on stage or in a practice room,
yeah,
or I'm. Panic Shack are a great example. Fantastic new band, got a new album out this month. I think self-titled, called Panic Shack. Their first band rehearsal, they all just decided to buy instruments, get a few cans of cider and just go around to one of their houses and just
yeah,
see what happened.
yeah,
But then from there, stick with it. Now, is that
yeah.
courage? I don't know what that is called, but it's a decision for sure. They made a
It's
conscious
just having a
choice.
go.
It's conviction, I guess, isn't it? That
Mm,
there's a conviction that this is scary as hell,
yeah,
but I think doing it with other people is the main thing as well. If you're on your own, if the scariest thing is like an open mic night where you're on your own,
mm,
and especially when you're not used to doing it. I mean, I've done that sort of thing a lot, so I really got over a lot of stage fright from doing open mic nights.
yeah,
Um, but it was so much scarier than the first gig I ever did. First gig I did, what I don't remember being scary at all. First gig I ever did was um, for my mate, all with friends from school. I wasn't the singer. I was part keyboards, part guitar, but it was really me doing the PA as well. So I just wanted
right,
to make sure everything worked. I didn't even the audience could have not been there. It would have been no different a gig for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone in the audience. Like, actually ideal first gig to set yourself up for being a self-sufficient musician, I guess. What was your
Yeah.
first gig out of interest?
It was a local gig. It was a pub called the Tumble Down Dick in Farnborough, which isn't there
The
anymore.
Tumble Down Dick.
Do you know
What
it?
a name. I do not. What a name. I'll remember that forever.
Yeah, it's not there. It's been turned into a McDonald's, and it was just a local sort of rock metal band. I was about 18 or 19, so I didn't start playing till I was about 17, and
Yeah.
it was a Wednesday or Thursday night, and yeah, I just remember like forgetting verses and forgetting choruses and just doing
Yeah.
big slides. Like I don't know what I'm. Oh, fuck, here it is. Okay, I'm back in.
That's a good technique.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I don't remember much of it. I thought we played all right. I actually dug out our old EP that we recorded at Jacob's studio down in where the fuck was that? It's towards Brighton. And Manson were recording in the studio next door. And I was
Wow.
like, this is pretty sweet. And yeah, I dug out the old 4-track EP or demo that we did. And it wasn't bad, actually. Like, we rattled through 4 tracks in a day. And yeah, it was all right. But
Good man.
yeah, it was, first gigs. I remember being terrified, like sick to my stomach, terrified. Just
Oh, I've definitely had that.
staring at my neck, not looking at anything, not looking up. Yeah.
But I've had that a lot more when I've had to sing. It's a different gig for a singer.
Yeah.
I sang in a wedding band for 5 years in that time in the early 2010s. So when I first started as a one-to-one teacher, the wedding band took off at the same time, and that was my full-time gig.
Cool.
And the amount of times I'd have to cancel lessons in the week, because I'd have a bit of a sore throat or something, and I'm like, if this doesn't clear up, I can't do the gig. And most stupidly, I didn't have an understudy, and it was really silly that for a couple of years, the longer I was in the band, the more I tailored the set to me, which made it even harder for anyone else to take over.
Yeah.
And if I was ever to do it again, you always need an understudy that you trust, because that saves that. But a guitarist can rock up snotty face, hungover. No, would anyone really know in the audience? Would they really care? But if that's the same with the singer, you can't do it.
Yeah, it's
so I do feel for singers.
Yeah, I started doing it post pandemic as well. Like, I started doing like solo gigs in bars and stuff, and I'd only ever do like one a month. And if you lost your voice at the end of the gig, it's like, well, I've got 4 weeks to get over it. But when you're doing it 2 or 3 times a week, 2 hours a night, it's like, oh fuck, I'm losing my voice like 3rd, 4th song in, so I'm gonna have to actually get some singing lessons. I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm doing wrong.
I did the same.
How do I warm up? How do I warm down? One of my teachers said, like, you got to warm. Are you warming down? I went, no. You got to start warming down as well, because then your vocal cords could get shot to shit.
But also, I decided it was a great idea. So, the DJ kept always playing Bon Jovi after we'd play. Like, whatever DJ would add, it'd be like Bon Jovi or Sweet Child of Mine or something like that.
Yeah.
And we were doing way more we were a lot more The Jam and that kind of stuff, a lot of The Who.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be a great idea to put Sweet Child of Mine and Summer of '69 in the set. And they were just out of my range. I could sing them in a studio, but for a 2-hour gig, I shouldn't have been singing those songs.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, I think I'm a lot more of the school, especially for regular singers. If you're singing twice a week, something like that, at a gig, at a wedding, whatever it is, you've got to work with your own anatomy a lot more. Play to your strengths.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of songs that that can get the same effects, that you don't need to hit a lot of the high notes and stuff. I have a Yorkshire voice, these kind of dulcet tones.
Yeah.
So anytime I'm putting on that, I can put on that rock thing. But it totally takes it out of me. And I can't do it a lot. And even the best people that could always do it, look at Bon Jovi, look at Steven Tyler, like they've all had serious, there's no one that does that. Even the ones that are technically perfect
Yeah.
that haven't had issues. Unless often it's a lot better if they go through theatre school, because theatre really preps you for that, because that's 8 days a week,
Yeah.
and you can't
Yeah.
do 1 week of that. Even if you're not, even if you're perfect health,
Mm.
1 week of that's going to show you up if you're not using right technique and not looking after yourself right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the other thing I'm going to ask is, right, what got you into music? What was your steps through the door?
I mean, like a lot of people, Marty McFly, Johnny B. Good, big red
Right. Okay.
guitar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't, but also, so we saw the live Back to the Future show, like
Mm.
years ago now when it first came out. Highly recommended.
Yeah.
Flying DeLorean, everything. It's
I haven't
amazing.
seen it yet. Yeah.
But the one thing that struck me is how many positive references that are for people that are like struggling in that and want to do something. If you
Yeah.
put your mind to it, you can do anything. It's just
Yeah.
like throughout the whole thing. And then the last 20 to 25 minutes of that, you've got such classic like
Mm.
things. So anyone that's a bit easily influenced, I would say, to like have a go at guitar, that's the film for you. It just works, all ages
Yeah.
and everything. You can see why it works for the generations.
Mm.
Um, After that, I mean, you got to say things like Top of the Pops were
Yeah.
just huge.
Yeah.
Um, my older brother's in a band and played guitar, so I was always around that sort of thing. Sister played in orchestras. Mum did amateur dramatics, so
Hmm.
like singing musicals on stage and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's always been around. Um, but I certainly wasn't. We weren't a family that grew up with vinyl and
Right.
like
Yeah.
the Beatles and
Okay.
the Stones and stuff like that. It was never about that. My mum's era was actually the 50s, so it was way beyond that. She loved the
Okay.
simpler songs, like bubblegum pop was my mum's thing really.
Right. Okay.
Um, and musicals. So I've got to say, and I've always been more of a music person rather than a guitar person. I've always
Yeah.
thought I should call it all Andy Music rather than Andy Guitar, because I'm a songs guy.
Yeah.
Um, and what I always wanted to really be, as soon as I knew there were careers in music, is I wanted to be a Guy Chambers to a Robbie Williams.
Right.
I wanted to co-write the songs,
Yeah.
go on tour, work with the artist, but I didn't want it to be my face or my name,
Right.
because I could not see Andy Crowley as a name in lights, and I didn't have the thing that a Robbie Williams has, and I still don't.
Mm.
And I think most people that do stuff on YouTube, they struggle to translate it to any kind of live thing, because they're
Yeah.
such different mediums. They play to different strengths.
Mm.
And I've certainly never been wowed by seeing any of my own live footage. But if I'm, hand on heart, I can see I'm critical of myself a lot, and we try and get better in so many different ways, from the edits to how I am on camera. But I can see I can see what works
Yeah.
with certain ones of my videos. Like when we hit it, I can see why. And yeah, music's always been intertwined with video
Mm.
since the very start. I think it's that pure escapism of growing up in Yorkshire, in the north of England, like beautiful countryside, like not a big city,
Yeah.
but when it's raining, like nothing to do. So it's all, put Bill and Ted on, put Wayne's World on,
Yeah.
put Back to the Future on, put Top of the Pops on. Pure escapism.
Yeah.
And actually, I did really struggle to get into a lot of songs. Struggled to get into Paul Weller and the Jam, even though I'm such a fan now. But in my teenage years, I found it talked about such real normal things. That's not what I wanted from music. I
Right.
wanted the escapism. I wanted the Def Leppard,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're going to ignore normal life and pretend we're in California and pretend we live in MTV. Like
Yeah.
that's what I wanted from my music, really. They're almost like superheroes before superheroes, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was always, um, like it was always on in our house. Like neither of my parents played, but music was just always on. Radio was always on. And I
Radio's a
did,
big one, certainly in the car journeys.
yeah.
And not only that, it would get my family. That's when my family would talk about music a lot in the
Yeah.
car. It
Yeah.
wouldn't just be on in the background and we'd ignore it. we'd actively go, oh, that's a great song. Oh, who's that band? What are they doing
Yeah.
at the moment?
Yeah.
And I think they really they picked up that I was into it, so they it was a way for my parents and all my family to like connect with each other through music for sure. We
Mm.
even had an upright piano in the house, for example, and
Nice.
some of my favorite memories. It was bottom of the staircase in the hallway,
Yeah.
so you literally couldn't walk through the house without going past the piano.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
sometimes, if you got literally an extra 5 minutes, you'll just have a play on there. But whenever there was a family gathering, we would always sit around the piano at some point.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have to be Christmas or anything. It would just be. I don't remember us doing it too much at Christmas, for example, because it's always bedlam at Christmas. But I
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
the smaller moments. We'd always turn to a piano actually more often than not. And I was taught piano before guitar as well, which I feel was
Right.
an asset in like understanding a lot of music
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
We got a piano. Like when we moved house, my wife was like, "Right, I really want a piano." And we sort of did lessons with my daughter, and she kind of fought against us. We did the
Yeah,
grades. We're like, okay, she's just not taken to this. Right, let's just forget the grades, and we'll just get her teacher to teach her songs. Wasn't that like into it? So we stopped lessons altogether. And I just said to her, look, if we really force her, she's just gonna rebel. She's gonna
yeah,
resent it. So we just
yeah.
left her. We just left it. The piano sits there. I bought her a pink 3/4 Squire guitar for like her 5th birthday, and it was about 6 months ago. She just came down with it. She went, "Could you show me how to play a thing?" Like how like so I tuned it up and I showed her a couple of chords and was like, "That'll do. I won't give you any more." So I was like, just go and practice those." And every now and again, she'll sit down. She'll just start playing stuff on the piano. And I was
Yeah,
like, that's kind of what I want, because she listens to music the same way that I do, like really intensely. She'll learn the words, she'll sing the songs, she'll um like she gets so absorbed into it. And I say, well,
yeah.
it's just gonna be a matter of time. That's all it is. She just needs to connect the dots between the song she listens to and the instrument that's sat in her room or sat in the living room. And it's kind of happening.
That's fantastic. And I think the
Mm,
biggest thing you can do, the biggest thing I wanted from my parents when I was, for example, playing piano in the house,
yeah.
because that's an intrusive thing. It wasn't in my room where I could shut the door or anything. It was out in the hallway. If you play it, everyone in the house knows. What I
Yeah.
wanted to do was to be able to play it and no one
No one
change
here.
anything they
Yeah.
were doing. Draw no attention to it.
Yeah.
Make it the most normal thing in the world. The worst thing I could have done is start playing and then someone come over my shoulder. Oh, do this.
Yeah.
Like it just makes you go no. It makes kids rebel.
Yeah.
Um, but that's difficult, especially for something where again even acoustic guitars,
Yeah.
pretty loud things. You know, you
Mm.
can't. If you strum it in a house, you're gonna know. And yeah, the how other members of the family like even embrace that or just tolerate it is like huge. I think a lot of guitarists are actually wannabe drummers, but
Mm.
their parents were just like, "We're not buying you a drum
You're
kit.
not having a
It's not
kid.
going to
No.
happen." Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. It's a funny thing, like learning an instrument, because it's so like it just takes so much time and it takes so much
yeah,
effort and so much struggle depending on the instrument. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, hopefully we'll see how she goes with it. The
That's
other
a
thing,
wonderful thing. I
yeah.
think that's like the primary thing that I really want to do with all of this
Mm,
is give kids just somewhere to go. It's why I'm big at like I don't swear in any of my videos personally,
yeah.
like on YouTube or in shorts and stuff. Make it super family friendly because I
Hmm.
want anyone to be able to watch it and it just feel like a safe space.
Yeah.
I feel like that's so important, and not everyone has that, especially
Mm,
growing up. So it's somewhere to go where you just know what to expect, and it's just about the music. It's just about the songs.
yeah.
What's she listening to? What's she into, your daughter? Is it all Taylor
She's
Swift or is it something
no,
else?
no, no, no. So she's Bring Me the Horizon, Linkin Park.
Amazing.
I go through her. She has to use YouTube Music, and I just let's have a look. And I scroll through it, and it's very there's loads of bands I've never heard of. But it's tailoring to that very melodic emo rock and metal. So I'm
Yeah.
then when we do like car journeys, I'm like, putting a little playlist together. Like, let's try this. Let's try some Deftones. Let's try
Yeah, yeah,
Shirley Finch. Let's try some Jimmy Eat World. All that kind of stuff. And yeah, she kind of takes it and runs with it. I did find a couple of Taylor Swift songs on there, and I tried for ages to get into Paramore. She's like, I don't like girl singers. I was like, well, that's fair enough, but I'm starting to find it now. Like, you got a couple of Paramore songs on there. She's like,
yeah.
yeah.
Paramore are great, man.
I was like, I told you. It's just, yeah. I think those guys just, I don't know. They don't seem to be able to write a bad song. It's like,
They're fab.
just,
They're
it's
fab.
just fucking excellent. But yeah, I think
It's funny how old's your daughter now?
13, nearly 14.
So yeah, that like age 10 was that when she started to get into like just stupid heavy stuff, and you're like, where's this
Yeah.
come from?
Yeah.
I remember the same for me.
I play it a lot in the car anyway, and
Yeah, so she's heard it.
yeah,
But I remember it was The Prodigy was probably the first like heavy thing I got into as a bit of a gateway thing. I remember I
Yeah.
was like 9.
Yeah.
Running around my bedroom going, I'm a Twisted Fire starter. Like,
Nice.
right.
That's cool.
But yeah, I think there's a need there. I think it's the first part of like personal independence, like what music you listen to, what bands you like at that 9,
Yeah.
10 age. It's a really important part of identity.
Yeah.
And it can really help kids navigate that, I think.
Yeah.
Massively. It's really good to see a lot more all girl bands with guitars playing live instruments just on stages of all sizes now.
Yeah.
We actually just got back from Primavera Festival, and all 3 headliners were girls. It's a very pop heavy festival at that one in particular. But can you imagine Glastonbury having an all female like lineup of headliners? Like, I imagine there might be some backlash to that, and you're like, well, why? It was literally the 3 biggest streaming acts of last year as well, so it's so legitimate. It's it was Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie XCX, and Chapel Roan.
Right.
So you're like, they're the 3 biggest acts of last year, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, Dua Lipa headlined last year, didn't she?
Yeah, she did last year. That was Super Set. Caught that for a bit. I think Calvin Harris did around then as well. So they have some huge acts. But I think Instagram's really helped that. There's been a rise of female guitarists through Instagram, and fair play to them. A lot of them are just amazing players, like so wonderfully technical and fabulous players. And they are actually translating that into the live arena as well. Someone like Sophie Lloyd, for example, has translated it really well. As I mentioned earlier, it's really hard to do both. But I think there's players on Instagram really managing to do that now. The same people tend to struggle on YouTube because it's not about them talking about anything. It's just about the playing.
Yeah.
But at least they're able to translate it into a live touring act. Because I tell you, it's never been harder to put a tour together or anything. It's all the costs. In every walk of life, the costs gone up. But I would love to do some form of like tour at some point, just for a laugh. I mean, I'm nearly 40, so I've never toured the UK. So if I was ever going to, it's like, let's look into that. And there's just no way to do it.
Yeah, I know a couple of people that run various different touring acts that are just constantly cancelling gigs. It's like people aren't buying tickets. People are leaving it to the last minute, and it's like I can't go up to Newcastle for 78 tickets sold in the hope that 300 or 400 are going to turn up on the door.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad.
But at the same way, we have this other skewing. It's a bit like Spotify playlists, where whatever's popular just gets so monumentally more millions of views than anything else.
Yeah.
It's really bad at pushing new stuff. I do feel like YouTube's pretty good at pushing new stuff if it's good.
Yeah.
It's almost like the subscribe button doesn't mean anything anymore. It's good to have subscribers as a broad metric, but it doesn't really count for anything in terms of your new video going out to people.
Yeah.
It's a pretty level playing field. If it's a good video, the algorithm works it out because of people's viewing habits and pushes it out. On Spotify, not at all. At gigs, good luck.
Yeah.
Like the amount of really good support bands we've seen. Like Bad Nerves supported all my favorite bands for like 2 years. Supported Creeper, they supported The Darkness and The Hives. And
Right.
every time, all the audience just stood there, almost cross
Yeah.
arm, folded arms, and like, yeah, whatever. And they're
Yeah.
fantastic. And at their own shows, it absolutely kicks off. But as a sport band, it doesn't work. But it all skews to, everyone wants to go and see Oasis.
Yeah.
Everyone's got the fear of missing out. Um, but they've not got the fear of missing out of the smaller gigs, which,
Mm.
in my opinion, holds so much more value. Do you
Yeah.
not think that? What's the value of
Yeah.
smaller gigs to you?
Do you know, the only time that I go to gigs now is to take my daughter. So we took her to see The Used last
Yeah,
December, and
nice.
they had a band called Honey Revenge who was supporting, and that band Honey Revenge has been on like constant repeat for the last 18 months. Whenever it was we went to see them, and it was just like it was it was like, this is why I used to go to gigs, to find new bands to listen to, and it's just I don't do it anymore. If I'm always out gigging, I'm always out either teaching or doing stuff. They've got kids, so it's difficult to get out and get away.
I
So
totally feel for you there. Back when, so I see more gigs now than I ever have done, other than when I worked in the lead mill.
yeah,
When I worked at Leeds O2 Academy as well, so a lot then. But then there's a big old gap because I was in a wedding
yeah,
band for 5 years. You just can't see any.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I didn't realize how much I'd lost touch with music altogether. Like the newer acts, unless they were big, unless they were an Ed Sheeran or something, unless
yeah,
people were asking for them in lessons, I didn't know about them. And now
yeah,
I'm ahead of the curve because, oh, they supported
yeah,
whoever
yeah,
else,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And
yeah,
being relatively central in Brighton, if there's something on a Monday, we'll just go because we can be back home for 10.
yeah,
It's not
lovely.
it's not going to be it's not a 2 hour, like my brother lives in the middle of nowhere in Norfolk.
Yeah,
Everything's an hour away, if not two
yeah,
hours away, just to see a gig.
yeah,
We definitely made that choice that it was a big part of our thing. We base holidays around it. We saw
nice,
Primavera Festival's part of our thing every year. That's in Barcelona, so that gets us to Barcelona once a year. We
nice.
saw Bad Nerves in Athens last year. That was only because that gig got announced, and we were like, "That'd be exciting." We'd never been to Athens, but I feel your pain there 'cause my brother had 3 kids, and we've not got any.
Yeah,
So I think I think
it
we're
makes
very
a
much making
difference.
a choice
Yeah, it
to
does make
like,
a huge difference. Like I've booked tickets to see people. Like Matt Schofield came over to the not Jazz Cafe, to Ronnie's. I bought tickets for that.
yeah,
I had a gig come in, so I couldn't go. Same with Greg Koch. He was down in
yeah,
Brighton. I bought tickets, couldn't go because I had a show come in. It's like
yeah,
now I'm
yeah.
just like, what's the point? I'm just losing so much money. I did get tickets to see Oasis, and have I have turned down about 10 gigs because the only tickets I got were on a Saturday. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I've spent so much fucking money on these tickets. I'm going to that gig.
Where do you feel about that then? Because I made that sacrifice for 5 years.
Yeah,
Like basically band first. You miss
yeah,
birthdays, you miss your own birthday.
yeah,
And it was a crucial, like frankly, without that wedding band income, I couldn't have
yeah,
afforded to be a one-to-one teacher, and I'd have struggled to live. So I did have to prioritize it for a while.
yeah.
Um, but I see it, for example, with a fantastic players such as Mike Bradley, who
Hmm. I know Mike.
I've
Yeah,
worked with a lot. Lovely guy, but just a fantastic player who is just made for being like either One Direction or Harry Styles guitar player. Like
yeah,
big stadium, big arena,
yeah,
um, great guitar player, but play mainstream stuff. Even though he loves all the blues stuff,
yeah,
he's got the charisma for it, and he can add something to that pop stuff that's going to really make it stand out.
yeah,
Pop bands, but just with amazing players like Bruno Mars's band or something.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But he's gigging all over the country 4 days a week, all year
yeah,
round.
yeah.
And he turns down so many opportunities because to get regular opportunities, you have to keep going with them. And I
Mm,
wonder how you kind of feel about that yourself, because I feel with gigging for musicians, there's always a carrot that's dangling in front of you
mm,
of doing a great gig.
yeah.
but you never actually you never get to the carrot, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, it depends
How
what
do you
kind of
feel
gig.
with it?
It depends what kind of gig you land. I mean, I've kind of like I'm 44. I said I've got 2 kids. Um, like I'm kind of now at the stage where I don't really want to be doing the 3-4 hour schlep up to the top of Norfolk or to Manchester for
Sure.
one gig. But if I can tie in 2 or 3 gigs, even function gigs or wedding gigs, then I'll do it, and I'll quote it so that it's worth my while. But I started doing pit gigs, theatre gigs, and
Yeah, yeah,
you're done by 9:30, maybe quarter
yeah.
to 10. You're home by 11. I'm like, okay, so the money isn't the same, but I really like this turning up at 5 or 6, playing 2 hours, driving home, and I'm done. I'm not doing 9 hours worth of travel. So I'm
Yeah.
now kind of shifting from like the pop gig, the big pop session gig, to why don't I just do theatre gigs, maybe with an eye at the West End? I could do that. I could do that till I'm 70. So that's kind of where
Absolutely.
I've
Sustainability is really crucial. And this is why I've chosen a lot of things that I know I'm going to age into as I grow
yeah,
older.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'll be able to film videos from home when I'm older. So this is something I
yeah.
can. But something like the pit gigs, like I always feel bad for musicians at those things sometimes because it
Mm.
feels a bit like the Prestige where he disappears under the stage but he
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
get
yeah.
the applause on stage. Like
Yeah.
as musicians, you're literally buried under the stage a lot. You might get your curtain call or something, but often actually not even that. So how do you wrestle with that? Does that lessen the impact?
So I've never been the kind of person that wants to have the spotlight thrust upon me. Like if there's a moment where someone says you got to go to the front of the stage for a little solo, then I'll do it. But I'm always happiest kind of just in the back, just pay no attention to me, pay me no mind. I'll just do my thing back here. I'll plug up, I'll pack up and go. So I actually don't. I've got no qualms with being under the stage and not being seen. I'm quite all right with it. I don't yearn for the front of the stage, the spotlight.
I think I've got a weird line that I tread with that
Mm,
because I'm a Leo, so I've put
right.
my name on flipping everything. I'm on YouTube, like there's a lot. My Bradley's a Leo as well. There's a lot of us that do the YouTube thing,
And you both got a
but
mate
also
as well.
I'm really not a big extrovert. I'm not a
Yeah.
there's a real something else which is a lot more thought out than that. And there's a lot of empathy with my stuff as well. It's why it's an instinct that kicks in with teaching, I think.
Mm,
Um, and that empathy is not always good with being a performer
yeah.
because you suddenly you feel for the you've yeah you have too much reverence for the audience sometimes with that,
Mm,
and it's a lot of people, and that can be hard to navigate. Um, but I do think, yeah, I don't know. Well, one thing you do miss when you do start doing everything online is no one applauds at the end of a YouTube video,
yeah.
and they do at the end of a gig. There's no other job where everyone just applauds you. Even if you do a bad job, people applaud
Yeah.
at gigs, and that can be something. Even though it doesn't have to be about the spotlight, it can be certainly. Well, we wanted to do a thing today, and we did it. Like there's an event, isn't there?
Yeah.
And there's a real satisfaction of a job well done with that, which is hard to replicate in anything else
Yeah.
because you do get a round of applause to it, but also just making music. Well, it's like when you go to a practice room and have a really good rehearsal and go, yeah, we're
Mm,
ready now, guys.
yeah.
It's a great feeling. It's a really
Yeah.
great feeling that's hard to replicate.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. So before I let you go, I can't go without asking. What does as someone that you said you don't do a lot of gig, we don't go gigging. Your playing is tailored around teaching. What's your view on you as a player getting better?
Yeah, I've actually, my views on all of this are very skewed by a big injury that I had.
Mm,
Um, so 2013, at the start of 2013, I had what became the number one video on YouTube, like the most viewed lesson. But it was November of that same year, I had an RSI injury right in the middle of my fretting hand,
right.
which just came on during
Right.
a lesson actually. and it was like, oh, what's that? I don't think I'm going to play in this lesson. So I put the guitar down,
Mm.
and then it got a lot worse very quickly, and it didn't go away. And that was me for like nearly 2 years.
Wow. Okay.
For 3 months, I couldn't drive. I couldn't squeeze a finger toothpaste. Like it
Right.
swelled up. It like
Yeah.
really swelled up. And even now you can see there's like a bit of muscle wearing
Yeah. Yeah.
there. It's not super clear because I do work on it, but it's hard to build muscle just here on my hand.
Okay.
So I have to be very ergonomic with everything. I'm trying to get the most benefit for the least
Yeah.
amount of time on the instrument a lot.
Okay.
Because when I'm filming, then I've got something in a tent to keep going. And on a filming day, it can be just 5 hours of basically guitar playing to some extent.
Yeah.
Um, but so yeah, I'm often trying to um, keep my skills up without literally burning out.
Yeah.
So it's lots of little quick exercises, and there's certain pieces that I come back to. Always coming back to things like the Hotel California guitar solo.
Right. Yeah.
One, because it works on pretty much everything,
Yeah.
and also that's a good one to have in your back pocket whenever I do any like live events.
Yeah.
Like if you can pull that one off, you get respect.
Yeah.
Um, you need a backing track, or you need to jam with someone for that sort of thing. And
Yeah.
ones that I can play that are good standalone pieces are like the Who, so
Hmm.
that's really good. Finger style's always the thing I've always struggled most with, but then I've gone through periods where I'm trying to make some real progress with that.
Yeah.
So I've got a series of fingerstyle pieces, including things like Windy and Warm, Cannonball Rag,
Hmm.
really ragtime pieces actually. A
Yeah.
few
Yeah.
like of the frankly easier end of Tommy Emmanuel's catalog,
Yeah.
but there's a
Yeah.
lot of those that are even like Angelina and stuff. That's a great one to get. I love that melodic fingerstyle.
Yeah. That's
Baby's
really
Coming
cool.
Home. Um, and the basics of the Beatles, you know what I mean? I often warm up with something like Blackbirds, do a
Yeah.
few exercises and then play Blackbirds, and you go, okay, that's got everything heated up. That's that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's my star jumps.
Okay. And
Um, but
and
then
how about?
go ahead.
I was going to say, how about YouTube? What's your kind of? Do you have a getting better kind of? I've forgotten what the fucking word is. Mindset. A bit getting better mindset for YouTube, or is it something that just ticks along?
It definitely doesn't tick along. You wouldn't
Yeah.
believe the meetings I have with my team and
Right.
what we talk about, like every like little thing. But the best way I communicate it to my team with what we're trying to do is actually a Walt Disney thing called
Mm.
plussing. Have you
Plussing.
never heard that? Yeah, I guess you haven't heard of the term.
No.
But I was like 2016. I went to Disneyland Paris for the first time ever in a Disney park, and I didn't expect to like it at all, and I was bloody blown away. And
Mm.
I got quite fascinated with how Walt Disney um, thought about a lot of things. A very flawed
Yeah.
man in many ways, but a proper pioneer and proper brilliant. And what he said was, Disneyland will never be finished. What we'll always try and do is, he called it plussing. We'll always, how the castle, sometimes they'll paint it and do it up a little bit, make it
Yeah.
better. Or sometimes plussing means, rip down something that's not fit for purpose anymore and put a better one up, or keep expanding.
Yeah.
But every time you expand something, you've got to improve the land to get there.
Yeah.
I literally that's exactly how I communicate it when we're doing reels, courses, on-screen graphics,
Yeah.
like what the background looked like,
Yeah.
thumbnails, especially thumbnails,
Mm.
um, and always with one foot in the past as to things that have always worked for me for handy
Yeah.
guitar stuff, and one foot in the future, literally trying anything that takes our fancy that we think will either do better for the current landscape
Yeah.
or just excites us. Like
Yeah.
that's where the band interviews come in. There's no return on investment ROI for actually doing band interviews
Yeah.
like this year,
Yeah.
but in 10 years, I think there massively will be. And I enjoy doing it, and the team enjoys like
Yeah.
editing the videos, and my partner helps me with scheduling the band interviews and stuff like that. So it really leverages the team in a really good way, and it actually all comes from I see it as plussing rather than the Bowie thing of reinventing every few years. We go, right, we're going to try
Yeah.
something totally new this year and
Yeah.
forget
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
all that old stuff.
Mm.
One foot in tried and true, one
Yeah.
foot in something new. And I have two video editors full time, and everything's still bottlenecks, even though I do a bunch of video editing too, because I
Yeah.
either tinker with their edits or take on some of them myself or do my own reels and stuff like that. Everything bottlenecks in the edit. It's actually the nice thing about doing live streams. I'm going to be
Mm.
going live on YouTube a lot more from next month in particular.
Okay.
Um, Try and make the most of the Oasis thing, and just to give everything a bit of a push over the summer.
Yeah.
Again, reconnect with people who regularly watch the YouTube videos as well, because they can easily become just stats and
Yeah.
numbers. So like YouTube literally forces you to look at the stats and treat people as numbers. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, these are
The people.
people. Yeah, keeping a person in my mind. Like often when I'm filming a video, I think about Ernie, who I used to teach one to
Mm.
one, or
Yeah.
Tom, or Dale, or whoever it is.
Yeah.
This one's for them, and I literally deliver it as if I'm delivering that lesson
Yeah.
10 years ago to that one person. That really helps, man. And yeah, beyond the numbers.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, I think on that note, I will let you get on with whatever you've got going on for the rest of the day.
Thank you very much. I've got another meeting, and then I'm going to film a load of shorts,
Okay.
mostly to promote the new electric guitar course that's coming literally next week to the website.
Well, there you
It's
go.
the next
All
big
right.
thing.
All right, Andy, thank you so much for your time. I really, really do appreciate it.
Thank you much. Take care.
You too.
Have a good one, Tim.